Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Kardec Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the spirit of truth. We rejoice for being here. And today the message is super special. Spiritism in you. April 18th, 1857. Allan Kardec brought to us the Spirit's book. He was the codifier, the editor-in-chief of this project, a group of thousands of superior spirits coordinated by the Spirit of Truth. Master Jesus, the governor of our planet, brought to us Spiritism. And our lives have changed completely, completely. What about Spiritism in us? Today it's a personal conversation, right? We're living a pandemic, and a pandemic that is not going to go away just because we want it. The virus is still going to be around because we don't have a strategy to kill the virus, but to protect ourselves. The vaccine, good thoughts, good feelings, prayers. But every one of us, at some point, we're going to come across the virus. Not necessarily we're going to be sick. Not necessarily we're going to be severely sick. But we're going to encounter. In the book, No Rumo do Mundo, de Regeneração, by Manuel Flamengo de Miranda through Divaldo Franco, a book that is not yet in English, On the Road to the World of Regeneration, it talks about the function of this virus to purify our planet. We need it. We need to find a new way of being. Spiritism comes to us to help us in that regard. You and I tonight have an encounter with our own consciousness, with our conscience too. André Luiz, the spirit doctor of the book Non Solar, brings to us today a message, Spiritism in You, in the book The Spirit of Truth, based on item 4 of chapter 17 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. In that part of the chapter that is titled Be Perfect, it's all about good spiritists. We know some people say, but I'm just a spiritist. Who am I? There's no just spiritist. Either we are, we're not. But the good spiritist says, Allan Kardec. Let us hear a little bit. I know you can read more later in the Gospel according to Spiritism. Chapter 17, item 4, Good Spiritists. But since we've just passed the anniversary of Spiritism, April 18th, it says, Spiritism, when well understood, but especially when well felt, inevitably leads to the results listed above, which was a passage about the good person, the moral person, which characterize the true spiritist as well as the true Christian, for they are one and the same. Spiritism does not create any morality. It only makes it easier for people to understand and practice the morality of Christ by providing an unshakable and enlightened faith to those who doubt or waver. You can read more about it in the Gospel according to Spiritism. But the beauty of it all is that it changes the way we feel about ourselves, we feel about life, we feel about everything. It's a revolution, but not an external revolution. It's an inner revolution. Isn't the message of Kardec in the Gospel enough? Well, as any science, Spiritism as a science expands the concept. We go deeper. We go through the details. And today, Andre Luiz has a very important conversation with us. Are we ready? Yes? What a joy to be here. Remember that you and I, when we are here together, we it's a non-local frequency. No matter where you are in the world, incarnates, discarnates, because discarnates are also tuning in. Yes, the good spirits have way to broadcast this to the spiritual realm, and we are all together forming this frequency of the truth, of the healing, of fraternity, solidarity, togetherness, spiritism, and you. Andre Luiz says, you recently had your first contact with the Spiritist doctrine, and now you're dazzled by the new spiritual perspectives of existence, redeeming ideals, enriching personal relationships, edifying conversations, noble reading, promising opportunities to serve in fraternity. But remember the imperatives of discipline in all enterprises, so that impulses precipitation do not create frustration. Becoming a spiritist is not automatically sanctifying in itself. It does not mean privilege, and it does not even express inner prison. It is an opportunity to free the soul with greater responsibilities before the laws of creation. It is to reincarnate morally again within one's own human life. Spiritist conviction is a blessed reward in the multi-millennial learning of evolution. In this way, neither prevention nor invigilance are paths to such achievement. It is urgent to sustain perseverance and patience in the fair execution of all duties. Avoid abruptly extracting defective but deep roots from your activities. Undertake any renewal, renovation, little by little. Contain the impulses for the untimely defensiveness of your new ideas, and solidify your own knowledge first. Spiritism is eternal clarity. Modulate the intensity of the light that you glimpse, so that their eyes are not affected by the blindness of fanaticism. Many brothers or sisters of ours still struggle in sublevels of daily trials because they are not willing to accept the reality that you do. But there are many others who have gone through the experience that you go through today, and yet, for that reason, they are still achieving this inner non transferable battle that we fight within us. Belief does not exempt us from consciousness. To do it right or to fall are personal issues. Everything depends on you. Whoever persists in illusion embraces stubbornness. The more the intelligence is edified, the more accentuated the pleasure of serving. Obey, therefore, the call of the Lord, offering good willingness to the aggrandizement of human redemption through active and ceaseless work in the various sectors where collaboration can develop. Keep yourself encouraged and confident. Serene joy in uniform gait is the ideal norm for reaching the culminated goal. Raise your aspirations and hope, trying to sublimate emotions and commitments. Above all, consolidate in your heart the certainty that the greatest revelation is that which prescribes the duty to seek with Jesus our deliverance from evil. And for our own benefit, let us understand the Master's real position as the excellent conductor of our world, in whose infinite love we're building the kingdom of God in us. Andre Luiz. I know the message is longer than usual, but it's truly therapeutic. It's very educational, and we need time to dissect the elements. And yet, we're not going to be that comprehensive. But let us select major highlights. Maybe it hasn't been so recent, our encounter with Spiritism. Okay, remember in this book, there is a book in which Andre Luiz has, if we've been through the teachings of Spiritism for 3 years and we haven't changed, we are not doing much. So it's not only about the ideals, this dazzling new perspective, it's about the inner. Today, we have a personal conversation with Spiritism. Spiritism, it's like mirror, mirror. Who am I? Spiritism, Spiritism. Who am I? That's the most fundamental question. He says, discipline, so we're not frustrated. So hold our horses. Some people, they come across and they say, we need to tell the world about Spiritism. Little by little. Kardec Radio started 10 years ago. July 4th, 2021, we're going to celebrate 10 years of this work. But as everything begins organically, little by little, gradual, we begin with one program a week at 11 a.m. on Saturdays. And little by little, more hosts were coming, more programs. And today we have this beautiful set of programs that are on demand, live, 24 hours with all of us. Many of your hosts, many of your listeners who are helping us so much, sharing the good news, interacting, asking questions. How many people ask questions, send suggestions, and ask for more? Of course, and we join forces with you in that regard. So, friends, let us be together in this reflection. To be a spiritist doesn't sanctify myself. Okay. It's not privilege and it's not prison. Interesting enough, now it's COVID time. And many people think that if I pray, I'm not going to get COVID. If I do charity, I'm not going to get COVID. Friends, do you know Professor Ibs Barçanufo? You remember. He died of the Spanish flu. Jesus, the excellent conductor of our world, was crucified at the cross. The things we need to undergo have nothing to do with what we know. Knowing Spiritism is not going to be a vaccine in itself. We need to surrender to our human level. We are in the flesh, Spiritism actually is not a privilege, but it teaches us that every illness is a purifying mechanism. It has a blessing in itself. We need to learn with it. Mhm. The laws of loved ones, we don't lose them, Jesus said to Bartholomew, as in the book Good News. Chapter 8, Bartholomew was sad, saying, "Is it a problem, Master, that I'm sad because I lost my mom?" And he said, "But who lost if nobody's lost in this world? Nobody's lost. All of our loved ones go on. They keep on living as we will." When people discarnate, some people are like, "I'm so sad." How come we're sad? God thinks that that's the best thing for that person and we're sad. But Vanessa, I'm sad because materialism. But can't I cry? Of course, but not be sad. Cry out of missing, longing, but blessing, because that person needed that experience to cross over. They were done here for the time being, and that time will come for us. In Spiritism, some people think, oh my gosh, since I got to know Spiritism, I can't look at myself in the mirror anymore. No, Spiritism is not a prison either, says Andrea Luiz. We are looking, yeah, we can see now. I can see clearly now, right? That the rain is gone. Yes, we can see clearly now. Spiritism comes and says, look, you were sleeping. Now you can see, now you can read. See? But that doesn't mean we're going to be sad. It's an opportunity to free our souls with greater responsibilities before the laws of creation. Because now we know we are co-creators. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. We reincarnated to learn to do good, right? We are learning. There are many things we don't know. That's why he says to reincarnate morally again within one's own human life. We need to be anew every day, to be detached from a certain stereotype that we create for ourselves. And he says, the conviction of Spiritism is a blessed reward in the multi-learning of evolution. But it's urgent to persevere and to be patient in fulfilling our duties. If you observe all the messages we have studied this far in the Spirit of Truth, goes to the same point, fulfilling our duties, fulfilling our duties, fulfilling our duties before the laws of creation. So we need to coach ourselves. And he gives the steps, gradual renovation. Like a house, you can't renew all the rooms at the same time. 1, 2, 3. I know Spiritism. Oh my gosh, what do I do? I have to change the way I work. I have to change the way I think. Oh my gosh, I have to change my relationships and my. Take it easy, he's saying. One step at a time. Contain your impulses. And solidify your knowledge first. Sometimes we want to teach people, but we forget we need to make it solid in us. Spiritism is eternal clarity, but we need to modulate it in the eyes of others. Sometimes we can't say anything because people won't understand, and that's fine. It's fine. But it's our choice. Now we're going to pick this sentence. Serene joy is the ideal norm to reach the goal. Do we love Spiritism? Oh, yeah. Serenely, without fanaticism, to be persistent, raising our aspirations and goals while sublimating emotions and commitments. Now, this is something we want to share with you. In a study yesterday in Portuguese about the book by Manuel Filomeno de Miranda, and I'm going to write here on the board for you. This is a major teaching that was shared. Célia Regina Jorge shared with us. Somebody asked her, how do I know that I am on the path of regeneration? How do you know? Because we are in a transition to a world of regeneration. And the answer, beautiful answer, very solid, it says to us, when I identify my degenerated memories, thoughts, feelings, when I identify them and propose to change them. So big question for us today, as André Luiz is saying here to us, okay? He's saying, big question now, a question in blue. Now we are asking this question. What are my degenerated memories? I'll give an example. Everything is a stimulus and response. Stimulus and response. So let's see, for example, let's say I look at a person. I find a person beautiful. And then I start thinking sexual thoughts. That is a degenerated thought, feeling, memory. We need to change it, sublimate it. How? I stop and I observe and I change the way I think. I say, I'm going to think differently from now on. I'm going to propose to pray, to ask for spiritual help, so I can coach myself into new conditionings. So we're talking about the need of identifying new conditionings for the soul. Some people look at money and they're like, oh, mesmerized, power, influence. We need to change the way we see the uses of things in the world. So, dear friends, André Luiz finalizes the message about Spiritism in us saying, let us understand the Master's real position in the world because his infinite love is helping us build the kingdom inside of us. You and I are not alone in this march towards our sublimation. We are under the aura of our dear Master, the excellent conductor, but we need to feel it. So right now we're going to close our eyes and do this exercise. So we repeat in the next 24 hours. Visualize the planet Earth. Breathe in and out, certain that the air we're breathing in is blessed. And Master Jesus, with his radiant presence, enveloping all of us, in this coaching program of loving vibrations. We breathe in and out, and we repeat to ourselves, I accept to be coached in your love, Master Jesus. I accept to be coached in your love, Master Jesus. I accept to be coached in your love, Master Jesus. We breathe in, we breathe out, and we feel this loving envelopment. What a joy, Spiritism in us. Thanks to Luiz, Waldo, Vieira, and Chico Xavier. Here we are with another exercise for the soul. The Spirit of Truth bringing to us more truth, the truth that we're deeply loved. And it's now our turn to love as well. A big hug to you, and until tomorrow, God willing.